to go around left tackle and then move upfield, and he did so for very good yardage. He got about 7 or 8 yards. Clayton Moore, the quick linebacker, came up to get him, but obviously when the quarterback turned around, there was no one to give it to, and he did a good job of keeping himself.
Bob, I had a feeling he checked off the line of scrimmage the way they were all kind of tilting their head trying to pick up the play, and of course once he realized it was a mistake, he made the most out of it and made a big play. 3rd down and 2.
So he got 8. They split out, men wide to either side. The tight end now comes to the left. That's the U-back, Kelly Spielmaker. So he's in a slot back position on the left. They run behind him and get the 1st down. So in that situation, the U-back becomes another blocker on that strong side. And they come in right behind him and run the freshman Lamar Liner, the running back, and get the 1st down. So Western Michigan on the move at their own 44.5-yard line starting the 3rd quarter.
Well, Lamar Liner is replacing the great Otis Cheatham, who's been doing so well for him. He's out with a pulled hamstring, and he's already got almost 60 yards himself.
By the way, Brent Williams has moved from strong tackle to quick tackle to replace the injured Mark White and Clarence Good. And then Paul Sander moves up into the starting strong tackle position for Toledo's defense. On the right side, Lamar Liner grabbed from behind, and the guy we just talked about, Brent Williams, wrapped up his shirt and refused to let go. A great case there for tearaway jerseys, but not on a night like tonight. And he was pulled down from behind. By the way, we're told, we were talking, Fran and I were during halftime to some of the Western Michigan folks downstairs, and they said that Lamar Liner, the freshman, bears a great physical resemblance to Billy Sims of the Lions, the former Oklahoma star. He even wears his own number, and if he has a career anything like Billy did down at Oklahoma, Western Michigan's on to something here. And he looks good tonight. Here he is again. Into Toledo territory before Tim Inglis, the strong side linebacker, got him down. Inglis was the winner of the 1983 Norm Cohen Trophy here at Toledo, which goes to the top freshman. Dan Simmerl, the coach of the Rockets, in his 3rd year here. He's a Toledo native, an alumnus of this school, the first ever to head coach the Rockets, 28-1. He learned his football here under the great Jack Murphy, starting as an assistant in 1971. 3rd and 4. Man open, that's a 1st down. On the reception, Paul Source, number 1. We got a lot of extracurricular activity on the far sideline. Tim Inglis and Brian Jones, linebacker and cornerback, teaming up, and I think I see a flag on the ground. That could make it a big play for Western Michigan if they were to tack on 15 more.
Well, you can see all those coaches jumping around over there as soon as he caught the ball, so obviously he caught a face mask. You'll see right here, there's a lot of activity going on. Right there, the face mask is jerked around. I believe that's what happened. And, of course, watch the coaches jump here right now. You'll see them in the background. Look at them all getting excited over there.
And it had to happen in front of Jack Harbaugh again, who had so many problems with the officials in the first half of play, the Broncos coach. So they'll tack on some more. And it'll be 1st and 10 at the Toledo 36-yard line. Here we'll get a look at it from the end zone.
Right there, the face scrapes across his face mask, and you'll see again right here. And here comes the hand. We didn't get a chance to
Looked
pick it
like
up.
Clayton Moore was the guilty party, number 29, the quick linebacker. They're in that U-back set. And across the line of scrimmage, maybe a couple of yards for Lamar Liner before Brent Williams wrapped him up.
Bob, it looks like Williams has stung a little bit himself, number 55 for the Rockets, but we have somebody laying on the field there for Western Michigan.
We'll take a momentary pause for you as we check on the injury. 11:36 left in the 3rd quarter of play. Toledo and Western Michigan tied. Sports Times action in American Conference football. It's 7-7.
A call to battle sounds on Sports Time Sunday night. At 7:30 Eastern, it's your chance to get in on the action with your opinions and questions on Viewpoint. Then at 8:30 Eastern, it's highlights of the Midshipmen of Navy against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. And at 9:30 Eastern, the Texas Christian Horned Frogs tangle with the Houston Cougars in Southwest Conference action. Man your station with Sports Time, Sunday night.
Thank you, and welcome back to Toledo. Kelly Spielmaker was the injured player. Here's a first down run by the freshman, Lamar Liner. Rodney Tatum had to wrap him up from the strong side corner position. On the sideline of Western Michigan, Kelly Spielmaker, number 80, went off with the injury. He played against Ohio last week and caught 7 passes for 86 yards, but before that he had missed 3 games with back spasms, so in this cold weather maybe something acting up on him, and he's out of there for the time being. But his ball club, the Broncos of Western Michigan, on the move here. This has been a very impressive drive, plus it's been helped by 1 face mask penalty. Lamar Liner outside. He's inside the 20 to the 16-yard line. Coming up to get him was Mark Brandon, the weak side corner, along with the strong safety, number 40, Mark Patton. This freshman is a speedy guy when he gets outside.
Watch him break out. Here, look him right here. Look right here. Now he turns on his speed. Now watch right here. Now come on up and make a shot there, fellows. That a boy. He can get outside.
He got outside, then he cut up for about 3 or 4 more inside the corner and the safety. 2nd and 3. At the 15. Alan Harbison, the middle guard, and Clayton Moore, the quick linebacker, on the tackles. Lamar Liner will be very close to a first down. We'll have to check on it.
How many times have you seen that happen, Bob, where a guy like Otis Cheatham gets hurt, and in comes a freshman guy they've always wanted to put in there. Now he's got his opportunity, and boy, he's really taking advantage of it.
No red shirting now.
No way. But you know, always looms in the back of Dan Simrell, the head coach at Toledo, is they've got Mike Frindle sitting over there. There's always 3 points anytime you get inside that 30-yard line.
Yep. And on a night like tonight, when the offenses aren't putting points on the board, that's a big factor. They got the first down, 1st and 10 at the 12. You saw the low posture of Hoffman. He puts it up and out of play over the end zone. Hoffman stands 6'1". He gets way down below that center, Jim Kreutzer, in that Western Michigan offensive line. By the way, we're told that in Toledo's defensive line, one of their best players this year has been number 96, Bob Beamer, a junior who goes 6'4", 215. He's a 2-year letterman. He has been in action here in the 3rd quarter. He's missed several games with an injury, and he's helping out because of that tough position they have at quick tackle with Mark White and Clarence Good, both injured and out of the game right now.
Of course, Hoffman's showing you experience by throwing the ball out of bounds so they can still at least get the 3 points out of this.
And Clarence Good has been playing the last couple of plays as well, so he's been back in there. It's 2nd and 10. Lamar Liner inside the 10, down to the 7-yard line or so. Tim Inglis and Dexter Clark. Toledo thought the ball was fumbled and that they had recovered, I think. That's what they're complaining about. Lamar Liner fumbled 1 time early tonight, but he's been pretty dependable lately holding on to the football. We'll put you right in the Toledo secondary here. You get to play strong safety.
Now let's see if he did fumble the ball here like the players think. Chances are he was down already, but he's down. And the ground cannot make you fumble. That's the rule of thumb. The ground cannot make you fumble.
I don't know. It looked to me, I thought on the replay, the ball was out of his hands before he got down.
Let's see it again. Let's see if we can see this closely. There's the ball. You are right, Robert. There is the ball laying there.
That'd be a fumble, folks.
That is a fumble, and the guys are right.
Well, the officials have a lot of bodies in between them and the ball, and it's sometimes easier to watch it in the first row if you're downstairs than it is on the field, and they obviously missed that one, but what are you going to do if you're the defense? Sports Time's coverage of the Major Indoor Soccer League's 84-85 season begins Friday night at 8:30 Eastern. It'll be live action between the Cleveland Force and the brand new expansionist Dallas Sidekicks. The league got off to an exciting start last night with an upset. The defending champion Baltimore Blast was beaten on the road at Pittsburgh. The St. Louis Steamers were winners at home 2-0 over the Chicago Sting. Kansas City, an overtime loser in a shootout at home. So we got a lot of great soccer for you on Sports Time, and the football action here is heating up right here tonight. 3rd and 4 at the 6. Hoffman running. He's not going to make the first down, I don't believe. He's down 3-yard line area. Had to get to the 2 or so for the first down. It's tough going down there. Tim English, the strong linebacker, was there to make the tackle, number 93.
Big decision here, Robert. Oh, they're going to go for the 3. You can see why. When you got a kicker like Prindle, why not?
Mike Prindle is 20 of 25 on the year. They're not going to mess around. He was 4 for 4 last week, 7 against Marshall earlier this year, and a 42-7 victory. 50 in his career, a MAC record. He's a 5'9" senior out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. His holder is Jim Kreutzer, a freshman center. Check it at Steve Hoffman, the senior quarterback. Kreutzer does the snapping, and it's 3 points.
Mr. Automatic.
That's a 20-yard field goal. That's like an extra point for him. Huh?
Yeah, it sure is. And they put the ball right in the middle, too. They weren't going to mess around.
So the dust clears with 8 minutes and 32 seconds left in the 3rd quarter of play, and the visitors on top again. Western Michigan has never trailed in this game. They led 7-0. It was tied. Now it's 10-7. We mentioned earlier a lot of great games on the schedule next weekend. You can see a lot of them right here on Sports Times Football Saturday. It starts at 12 noon Eastern, when most of you will see Maryland against Miami of Florida live. Right after that, it'll be Army against Boston College and Doug Flutie. And that's just half of it. We'll tell you about the rest of our next Football Saturday lineup in just a couple of moments.
Well, he feels a little better about it right now, Coach Harbaugh.
There are the deep receivers, Eddie Harris and Bill Poor. It looks like Rodney Tatum has replaced Bill Poor in that department. There's Prindle's kick. He angles it to the goal line. It is Eddie Harris. Boy, they get excited about kickoff returns around here, don't they?
Well, I'll tell you what Prindle does for him, though. Not only he gets the ball real high down to the goal line, forces him to run it back, and it gets the rushers getting down, tackling him on about the 15-yard line, and forces him to run out of his normal path. Look how high that ball is, and Prindle's right on the goal line. Now he has a chance. He's right here at the 15-yard line. You see the first man, number 89, come in. Here comes 57, cuts him back, and of course he's going to run into a host of tacklers right here.
Eddie Harris on the return out to the 25, and now the Toledo offense has to go to work. In there hard. Like Steve Morgan. Terry Lewis, a linebacker, racked him up. Morgan, number 22, a 5'10" senior out of Springfield, Ohio, runs a 4.6 40. This statistic was being pushed by the SID of Toledo, that he accounts for 5.2 yards every time he touches the ball, but tonight I don't think so.
No.
2nd and 8 at the 27. That's the fullback, Jerome Stevens. Look at him go. He's got big yardage, almost to midfield. It's interesting. Steve Morgan is known as their game breaker. Their biggest runs of the evening have come from their fullback on those quick openers.
Well, that's because they're keying so much on here. Now, watch right here. Watch the tackle. The number 67 makes a trap there. That's a trap. And, of course, Jerome right here uses good eyes. He's a good runner, no question about it. Watch him right here avoid that tackler. And, of course, he trips over his own man, but he made the big play, and maybe excite this team.
1st and 10 at the 49. There's the fullback again. Mark Gerolchik, a 6'6" junior left tackle. By the way, there's a sad and interesting story that goes along with this Western Michigan defensive line. They lost one of their troops, a young man by the name of Daryl Martin, who was a middle guard who led it on this team last year. He was killed last May in a murder-type accident, and they have dedicated this season to him, and the media guide was dedicated to him with a picture. And the defensive line has him in mind when they play tough defense against those Mid-American Conference teams. Steve Logan and Nate Bolton coming up to make the tackle on that play from the secondary.
Steve Logan came in from the outside on a blitz and turned him inside. And, of course, they got that great quickness out of the linebackers. When you turn those runners back into those linebackers, they're going to go down.
3rd and 6 at the 47 of Western Michigan. Morgan averaging a little better than 3 yards a carry. There's a good-looking fake and a bootleg by the quarterback. He's out of bounds at the 34-yard line, maybe the 35. Well, what a great fake that was, huh?
Number 89, Roy Swope, came in there when a nail in the back. Now watch number 89 come across, all the way across the backfield. Right there, there he comes. He missed him completely. That's his responsibility to stay there and check for bootlegs and check for reverses. And he came so hard, he just simply gave Sager the big burst of 10 because that puts him in scoring position now.
You know why they got so excited? Because A.J. got positive yardage.
He sure did.
Came into the game with minus 93 on the year on 21 carries. He's run for positive yardage a couple of times tonight. 1st and 10 at the 35. Bill Poor in motion to the far side. Everybody's in the line. Nobody was out wide that time. And they get good blocking as they send Steve Morgan off right tackle. He angles back the other way and gets inside the 30. And this is looking like a pretty impressive offensive drive by the Rockets of Toledo.
This is what I kind of expected out of Toledo, to kind of take charge of the offensive line and defensive line and get control of this game. But really, Western Michigan will not give them that opportunity. And this is the first time they've really taken the ball and just punched right down the field with it.
2nd and 4. They got 6 on 1st down. You get 6 yards on 1st down. It gives you a lot of versatility. Steve Morgan, the tailback. He was tripped up. A very good defensive play by number 51, Jerry Alford, who reached out and just got his foot, and that tripped him up so that the rest of the guys could finish him off.
That play was designed to go outside, and he saw daylight inside and realized he wouldn't make much yardage going outside, so he cut back and got as much as he could. Now it's 3rd down and 2, and they're what we call the 4-down zones, meaning that they have 4 downs to make 10 yards, so they've got 2 more of those 4 left to go 3 or 2.
And their place kicker, Toledo's, Dave Walker, warming up, maybe with a chance to tie up the game here momentarily. On 3rd and 2, Steve Morgan, he's going to get the 1st down easily. You get him outside, and you're not going to stop him for 2 yards unless somebody forces that play in. He gets down to near the 20 and out of bounds. Inside the 20, they actually mark it, and the Western Michigan drive continues here with 4:28 left in the 3rd quarter, and we're going to have the runner coming right at you here. So you want to be a cornerback, huh?
Watch the double team block here. Number 34 comes around, and here's 22 more. Now watch him. He gets hurt right here. He had to leave the ball game on this play. I don't know what happened.
Hey, well, our camera people, they deliver some tough shots down there. You got to bench press about 350 to run sideline camera.
Do they get battlefield pay?
No, just more than we do, that's all. 1st and 10 at the 20. Bill Poor in motion to the far side. Number 33 through there for the Toledo Rockets. That is Kelvin Farmer, that sophomore tailback. There's a guy that's gotten rewarded for some field goals. Walker is 6 out of 13 this year in the field goal department. Second and 5 at the 15. There's Farmer again. Down to the 13 or so.
Bob, they're frantically working on Morgan, trying to get him ready to go, because in this situation, you want to have your experienced backs in there. It's going to be 3rd down and 3. Now the big decision goes back to Simrall here.
They need to get to the 10-yard line. They're at about the 12.5. So it's 3rd and call it a short 3.
Well, they've had a lot of luck with that short little trap to the fullback in this situation. Let's see if they go
sure
back to that play.
That's been a real key play for them tonight. Jerome Stevens is the up man who we would be looking for there. Nice call, Coach. What are you doing up here? You should be down that sideline.
That's why I'm up here.
It's a little easier up here, right?
No, that's the right play to come with, though, because they've been going so much outside, and they have their best back sitting on a bench. Critical situation, you go to your next best back, and that's Jerome Stevens, their fine fullback.
It's going to be 1st and goal from the 3.5. Steve Morgan was on the sidelines a moment ago, so he's not in there. Now they've got kind of a triple I backfield. Now they switch over into a slot back as Jeff Burns, the tight end, moves over to help out blocking. They'll be running to the right. Stumbling down near the goal line is Kelvin Farmer again.
Well, what they're doing, Bob, is they're taking that another tight end and they stick him in the backfield so that it gives them two blockers, the fullback and the tight end shifting to the right, block for the running back, number 33, Farmer. Now they put number 22, their Morgan, back into the ball game. And you'll see again, on a goal line, this is one of the things you do in the scouting report. They'll come with what we call a power eye to the left. Now, see number 83 over there? If we can get a shot of the whole backfield, you'll see all three backs in the backfield.
2nd and goal at the 1. Steve Morgan, no. That's one way to get the guy from going up over the top, is to get him before he gets off the ground. And that's exactly what happened in that defensive line of scrimmage for Western Michigan University. That play was made by number 51, Jerry Alford.
Well, this is one of the weaknesses, Bob, of an I formation that close to the goal line. You do have your back lined up 7 yards in the backfield, and he has to run 7 yards before he makes an inch. And sometimes in that situation, that's why they've had success with their fullback. Now they're taking Morgan back out of the ball game. We have a timeout here.
Western Michigan has also pulled somebody, a defensive player. Jim Kramer, number 95, a defensive tackle, has left. We'll tell you about our football Saturday schedule wrap-up in a moment, because we're ready for the next player right now. That was a very quick timeout. 3rd and goal at the 1. Kelvin Farmer gives Toledo the lead, 13-10 on a 1-yard run.
What a great thrill for that young man right there. Look how happy he is. Look at him. He's just having a ball. He loves it.
Toledo has the lead for the first time tonight.
Here we come right at you, folks. Watch this break back against the grain. He slides off his blockers. Good job.
The point after is up and good from Dave Walker, who's now 13 for 13 this year. So Toledo, with 1:12 left in the 3rd quarter of play, takes a 14-10 lead on their 2nd touchdown drive of the night. And suddenly, Coach, this is turning from a helter-skelter affair into one where both teams are moving the football nicely here in the 2nd half.
Well, again, the power and strength of the Toledo team, I think, has a little bit of an edge on the Western Michigan team. And as you go through 4 quarters of football, usually the stronger team, of everything being equal, will eventually take control of a ball game like this. However, Western Michigan has certainly shown us they can move the ball when they have to in a hurry with their great receivers. You can see right there the score now is 14-10. And Toledo has really had their hands full with the Western Michigan team tonight.
So now Western Michigan will get the football back. They're feeling pretty good on the Toledo sideline now. Now they want to play some D, throw some of that big D at the Broncos, which has carried them throughout this season. Toledo came into this game in the top 4 or 5 in the country in many different categories. They're going to squib it, and it'll be picked up by number 2. That is Ken Luckett, the safety. He makes a pretty good deal out of it. Out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Ken Luckett, of course, the MAC Defensive Player of the Week, who's a strong safety on that team. He was up there with those good hands to help out on the special teams. And Western Michigan will start 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Bob Carpenter along with Fran Kersey with you from the Glass Bowl in Toledo, Ohio. It's 14-10, the Rockets over the Broncos, but we've got a long way to go. Steve Hoffman, senior quarterback, Flushing, Michigan, for the Broncos. Quick lookout pass to the left. There to get it, Cliff Reed. He just took a little look to the right, but he knew where he was going to throw the football, and Dexter Clark was there with tight coverage.
Well, that's one of those slanting passes there where they were just trying to get the ball to Reed and let him use his quickness and maybe avoid the tackler and make a long gainer out of it, but they were going to have no part of that.
Clock running with 45 seconds left now in the third period. Now the wind is kicking up a little bit, blowing from the south, so it's at the backs of Western Michigan now. It has not been a factor at all tonight. Forget it, Mr. Freshman. Lamar Liner, the freshman out of Detroit, was met head-on by strong safety Mark Patton.
And, brother, he was coming right at him, wasn't he?
He said, how do you do? Welcome to the Mid-American Conference as a freshman. We'll see if they get another playoff now with the clock down around 10.
You know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to throw the ball here. And if you do incomplete it, you got the wind at your back kicking it. They're not going to get it off.
I don't think so. They're just looking at the scoreboard and walking away from the football. That's what the quarterback is doing. So we'll change ends. And with 15 minutes remaining, the home team leads for the first time tonight. Toledo outscores Western Michigan in the second and third quarter, 7-3, and lead it 14-10.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Hey, give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
No, Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
It's a wild place.
You're watching Sports Time with the games you don't want to miss.
Supreme Court has a serious problem. We expect our judges to be nonpartisan, but newspapers report that Ohio's Supreme Court is not. The Toledo Blade said the court is totally politicized. The Dayton Journal-Herald said the court's dignity and impartiality have been eroded. The Akron Beacon-Journal said there is danger in the excessive use of political power, especially when it is exercised for partisan political purposes. The only real judge of the Ohio Supreme Court is you. Elect Judge Craig Wright to the Supreme Court.
You can count on Auto Plus. We're great at what we do. At Auto Plus Muffler Shops, our price is right for you. You can count on our great quality. We're the best by far. Just add it up for yourself. We'll tell you who we are. We're Auto Plus Muffler Shops, and you can count on us. You know you can count on Auto Plus.
Fourth quarter action. Here we go. Western Michigan. And it is behind the intended receiver. Toledo was sending everybody on third down. They were blitzing like crazy. Steve Hoyt was out there. The strong end.
Well, they put Rod Tatum in at number 4 for the 5th defensive back, Bob, and that made him the nickel. So he came on a blitz, and they forced him to throw the ball much quicker than he wanted to.
Jim Klapthor will kick it. Watch his unorthodox kicking style. Doesn't really seem like he drives into the football at all. Just kind of stands there and lets it go. Not a very good kick. Fair catch called at the 42-yard line. That was very close to interference, too, as Western Michigan's number 87, Terry Lewis, gave him very little room to catch the football. But really, part of that is because the kicks tonight just have not been very far. They keep falling right into the middle of all the special teams coverage.
I'll tell you what Jack Harbaugh does. I've noticed this on all his kicking game. He's using his best players on his kicking game. Kickoffs, and there's some people on the hills over here. And this stadium has been 109% filled most all last year.
They have great tradition here at Toledo. They had a team here from 1969 to 1971 that won 35 straight games, and it has been called the greatest Mid-America Conference team ever.
Boy, they had Ely, and they had some great players on that team. I remember those guys. They were good.
That was Jerome Stevens, the fullback. He's becoming a story in this game now. Broke a big third down play for a first down on that touchdown drive. A couple of big plays earlier in the game. A 6-foot senior out of Braceville, Ohio, a 2-time All-Stater there. I like to see those guys carry the football. Those poor fullbacks have to block so much all the time.
That's right.
2nd and 4 at the 48. Steve Morgan is close to a first down. Terry Lewis just rode him down, the left linebacker. I'd say he's got a good career ahead of him. Terry Lewis, 6'2", 205, out of Whitmer High School here in Toledo. Only a sophomore. He was moved from quarterback in the spring.
Look at the graphic there with Liner, how well he's doing for a young freshman.
Not bad. It'll be 3rd and a short 2. Morgan has the first down. Just diving right through there. Leon Brooks got him, a 6'3" senior out of Macomber High School here in Toledo, backing up Mark Goralczyk at the left tackle position.
Well, if you're in Dan Simmerl's position right here, what you want to do is try to make all those 1st and 10s with 3 downs and eat up this clock and hope that you get one more touchdown and just keep using that clock.
It's running with 13:20 remaining. Toledo now piling up the first downs. That was their 14th. In motion, Bill Poor to the near side. Here's Morgan again. Boy, he took a couple of pretty good shots. He was hit first by number 22, Dennis Robinson, then by number 45, Steve Logan. Neither of those guys could knock him off his feet. Then he was forced out of bounds. This is pretty tough running by a tailback who's only 5'10", 187.
But you can see why they want to keep him in the ballgame. Number 45 takes a direct shot with him, bounces off of him, bounces off Terry Lewis. 87 takes him out of bounds and stops the clock.
2nd and 8. A.J. Sager, the quarterback, and the coach, Dan Simmerl. He votes every week in the UPI coaches poll, by the way, so he's a man of influence. Oh, there's that quick opener to the fullback again. A little counter play in there, and he takes that one step to the right and goes back to the left like John Riggins does, and he is getting big yardage on that play tonight.
Watch the trap here now. Watch the guards right next to the center. Pull across and block for him, and here he comes right up the middle there. They're looking so hard for Morgan that he slips through on you. If he gets into the secondary, he knows how to run. 11 rushes, 64 yards. Jerome Stevens carrying a good load tonight.
His longest rush of the year, 41 yards coming into the game. There he is again. You know, and you get the feeling here now, Fran, as time goes by, this type of attack, being successful like it is wearing down that Western Michigan defense.
I'll tell you something interesting about Dan Simmerl, what he's done several times tonight. He has a successful play. He comes right back and runs it right again. Remember the 2 pitch plays he ran?
Right.
He ran the pitch, and he came back. He ran that trap play twice.
Those to the tailback, these to the fullback. It's 2nd and 3 at the 27. Only one man split out wide to the left. Pretty straight-ahead football by the Rockets right now. Here's Steve Morgan. Good blocking on the outside. Boy, he got some good blocking out there. Jerome Stevens was out there doing his thing. They cut off Western Michigan from getting outside and forcing that play in.
Boy, look at him coming right here. Look at him getting under control. Now he's aiming right at our cameraman. He's saying, where's that guy? I'm looking for the other one. I hadn't hit him yet. Attaway, good job, man. All right.
He says, I'm getting out of here. Good mobility. First and 10 at the 23. This is a very impressive Toledo drive. A touchdown would put them up by 11. They'd be thinking, bring on Central Michigan pretty soon. Nothing doing there for Steve Morgan. In the Mid-American Conference today, Bowling Green over Ball State 38-13. They're 5-2 now, the Falcons are. Miami of Ohio losing to Ohio 24-19. But the big score at DeKalb, Illinois. Northern Illinois 8, Central Michigan 7. With a victory, Toledo ties the Chippewas for first place. And if both win next week, we'll have the conference championship showdown here on Sports Time 2 weeks from today in crisp Mount Pleasant.
But Toledo plays Northern Illinois next week, don't they?
That will be no cakewalk.
That's right.
I said if they win, right?
There's that trap play again.
They snuffed it out pretty good that time. Number 49, John Offerdahl, came in, and he got involved in the play and just stuck his nose in there, and he kind of messed the whole thing up.
He's good at messing things up when he wants to, because he's going to really come in there. He smells that play. You're going to get him one time. When you go to the well too many times, Offerdahl's going to be there. It's forcing Sager into a passing situation here.
Both teams near the 500 mark in third down conversions. The Rockets right at 50%. 3rd and 11 at the 24. Nice defensive play. Ron Swope from the right linebacker position. On 3rd and 11, got a little draw play there. Now we're going to have a long field goal attempt of about 44 yards.
Little wind in his back, Bob. It'll help.
Dave Walker this year, 6 out of 13. Walker is a senior from Archbold, Ohio. The holder is Kent Bishop, a senior quarterback. He's got the distance, and he's got 3 points. That's a great kick. Boy, he had that with about 15 yards to spare. That would have gone over from 55 or longer.
He says, look at this, Mike Prindle. I can kick it too. What's your reaction here of our kicker? Watch him. He knows it's a good all the way. Look, he knew it was good as soon as he left his foot. Attaboy. Nice job.
Toledo on top now, 17-10 on a 44-yard field goal by senior Dave Walker. Well, this thing is still very much up for grabs, but Western Michigan has not scored since the 7:36 mark, a touchdown that is, of the first quarter on that 42-yard pass from Steve Hoffman to Cliff Reed. They only had a field goal in the third quarter of 20 yards by Mike Prindle of Chauffard, so it's been all Toledo lately.
You know, Bob, this is the kind of part of the game when you're glad you have a real strong defense, because you know now Western Michigan's going to have to make something happen really within the next 2 times they get the ball, because it seems as though, I get the feel anyway, that Toledo's beginning to feel good about their offense. They feel like they can move the ball on the Western Michigan defense.
We'll have Western Michigan on our Sports Time MAC Game of the Week next week. They'll be home to take on the Flashes of Kent State. Boy, that Cliff Reed is a smooth operator, isn't he? Out to the 27-yard line. Cliff Reed averages 21.8 per return, his longest of the year, 37. So you'll get a chance to see the Broncos again next week here on Sports Time. They'll be home to take on Kent State. It'll be our first look at the Kent State Ball Club. They've been playing well lately. And 2 weeks from today, it'll be this Toledo team up at Mount Pleasant to take on those Chips of Central Michigan. Fire up Chips is what they say up there. They'll be fired up for that one if both teams are going for the big one and a berth in the California Bowl. Pretty good catch by Reed, and then he got down to avoid serious injury. 10 out of 18 now for Steve Hoffman. By the way, they mentioned here at halftime, in the Pacific Coast Athletic Association, Cal Fullerton State won again today. They're 10-0. They've won their last 10. They're in first place in that league, and they figure to meet the MAC winner in the California Bowl in December.
They were behind. They had to come against Fresno State to win the game.
Yeah, and Fresno's been up in that race, and Nevada, Las Vegas, those have been the 3 biggies out there in the PCAA. 2nd and 6. Forget it. They're fired up, aren't they?
Oh, that was a forget it. I mean, that number...
There's Bob Beamer. That's the guy we talked about earlier who's been hurt throughout the year and is back in playing tonight.
And number 45, Steve Hoyt, just came in from the outside. Watch him come from the outside. Number 45, he'll come into your camera here. Bango, 45 right there, brother. He kissed him right there in the throat.
Yeah, kissed him. That's an interesting way to look at getting your head almost taken off. 3rd and 7 at the 30. Big play here for the Broncos offensively, as well as defensively for the Rockets of Toledo. Some adjusting at the line of scrimmage. That's a pretty good throw and a very good catch, and very close, if not a first down.
What a great catch. It was a great catch.
Dave Aronson, his first catch of the night. He's the tight end, a 6'4" junior out of Allendale, Michigan. His 14th catch of the year. Came in averaging 12 per catch, his longest 15. He was an all-state linebacker in high school. He's a big boy, 6'4", 217. And they got the first down. That was a big play.
He slipped it right between 2 defensive players.
You got to slip it in against Toledo, or else you don't complete it, right?
they're going to get in trouble here. You got to get number 80, Spielmaker, off the field.
They sent 2 of them off of there. There's the pitch. Haven't seen much of the freshman Lamar Liner lately. The middle guard, Alan Harbison, shuffled quickly to his right, number 91, and took care of the defense at that time. Harbison, 6 foot, 232 senior out of St. Francis High School here in Toledo. Not very big.
In comes nickel defense now. Out goes the lineman and the strong safety. They bring in 2 corners backs. They got 5 very, very quick defensive backs into the ball game right now.
2nd and 8 at the 40. Clock running, 8:13 remaining. Western Michigan down by a touchdown. Number 80 on the reception is Kelly Spielmaker. Mark Brandon and Rodney Tatum coming up from the corners to rack him. Spielmaker, that sophomore out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, left the game earlier. He caught 7 balls for 86 yards last week against Ohio. Had missed 3 games before that with back spasms. In fact, as a sophomore, already he's number 3 in receiving career with close to 80 receptions now, and number 4 in yards with over 1,000. Not bad for a sophomore. Of course, that indicates they probably didn't throw the football a whole lot in the old days either. 3rd and 2. Oh, what a play. What a great play by Dexter Clark. He was going hard across the middle of the field and stuck his left hand down there and knocked that ball into the turf.
Bob, that's one of those kind of plays right there where you try to go for the big play on 3rd and 2. I'm surprised at that because I thought they'd want to try to make their 1st and 10, but they come across deep. What a great play by number 9, Dexter Clark. Now puts them in a position where they've got to punt the ball with 7 minutes, 19 seconds to go. They could have been forced into using 2 plays to go for the 1st and 10.
Boy, he cut around, right around Paul Source. Great athletic ability to make that play and not get pass interference. Jim Clapthorne on the kick. Not a very good one. And grabbed by Eddie Harris. So Toledo will have it at their own 27-yard line, and now it's time for them to chew up that clock. Well, we told you earlier about the kickoff of our football coverage Saturday next week. Our football Saturday coverage at 8 o'clock Eastern, live Big Ten action featuring the Fighting Illini of Illinois against the Indiana Hoosiers. Later that night, it'll be Big 8 action between Kansas State and Iowa State. What a lineup. Football Saturday on Sports Time, a great way to spend your day with us. Don't forget, we'll have some MAC action for you as well. That'll be early in the day up at Kalamazoo. Flags fly on 1st down.
Bob, I think what happened, I think the offensive line moved and was pulling. They were all pulling. Let's see what he calls right here. Yeah, left tackle moved.
I want to thank some of the guys that have been very helpful to us tonight. Sports information directors from Western Michigan University, John Beatty. From Toledo, Max Gerber. Our spotter, Frank Pisa, up here in the booth. And our statistician, Bill Sanford. They've done an outstanding job for us this evening. And we'd like to salute all the camera folks working outside here with us. It's a tough job on a night like tonight. Of course, everybody in the truck's comfortable. Everybody in the truck's comfortable, so they don't get a mention until later. 1st and 15 at the 22. Straight ahead. Oh, what a run. That is Eddie Harris. That's the first time we've seen him on an offensive play tonight. He's been on the special teams all night. Eddie Harris, a 5'8 junior out of Meadowdale High School in Dayton, Ohio, runs a 4.640, and he ran about half of it right here.
I think we could have ran through that one, Bob. That's a great hole right there. But most important of anything else, you hate to see you start off with a penalty, a 5-yard penalty. They made every bit of that up, and now it's 2nd down and 2 to keep that ball going forward.
13 on the carry for Eddie Harris. He's only rushed the ball 6 times this year now. They may want to take another look. We'll have to wait and see where they mark it. Don't think they made it. It's going to be 3rd and a short 2, I think. They only got maybe a half yard on that play.
And they're bringing in Kevin Farmer. He's a lot bigger fella than Harris in this particular situation.
Melvin Farmer, a sophomore tailback, 5'10", 190 on the ball carry. Did he stumble far enough?
I don't believe so. I think they're going to have to punt in this situation. That's too bad to be second down with 2 yards to go, and you can, of course, you got to give credit to the defense of Western Michigan. If they did not make it, they really did an outstanding job.
There's the Toledo band. They're saying go for it, but who's going to listen to the band?
Maybe sometimes we should, you know. Those guys really do a good job. They work awful hard, the band. Let's see here what it looks like.
It's well short. You've got to kick this one. You can't do anything like that in your own territory. No way.
Without question, you got to kick it.
I was surprised he even measured. It wasn't even close. On to kick will be Dave Walker, who averages just over 40 yards a kick. That is the family of Steve Morgan.
All right, they're happy, aren't they?
Well,
that's 2 twos for 22, Steve Morgan.
they were happy when he ran that 4-yard touchdown run back in the second quarter. They're coming. They got it. They got it. They were coming hard. Recovering the kick. Number 45, Steve Logan. They were coming hard, Coach, and they got it.
Steve Logan could have made a little bit of a mistake there. He did not have to fall down on a block kick. He can pick the ball up and run for a touchdown, and with the strong defense Toledo has, look at him come straight up the middle, block the kick. You know what, team over here, you'll see him. He can pick the ball up and run with it on a block punt.
Looked like
Right
Jack
up the
Guillermo.
middle.
Jack
Yes,
Guillermo, number 36, the middle guard, blocked the kick. How's that for speed for
Boy,
a middle
this
guard?
game changes so fast, doesn't it? Looks like you cannot get comfortable with this game. Watch right here. He could pick the ball up and run with it, son.
Well, he wanted to make sure he got possession. Western Michigan on the offensive again. Big play for them. Cliff Reed in motion to the far side. Almost tipped, almost picked off by number 45, the strong side defensive end, Steve Hoyt. And then Dexter Clark said, man, I wish I would have been watching closer for that deflection.
Well, you know, last time they had a big turnover like this, they went right back to the one big play and they made a touchdown. So I guess they had that in the back of their mind to try to maybe get 6 points on Toledo through the air, because it's going to be tough to run against them.
2nd and 10 at the 19. Nothing doing for Lamar Liner, the freshman. Clayton Moore wrapped him up, and then several of his friends arrived in a bad mood.
They had a team meeting on his body, didn't they?
Yep. A.J. Sager hoping he gets on there so that his offensive squad can kill the rest of that clock. Western Michigan, this is 4-down territory for them, really. It's 3rd and 10, but they will go for it, of course, no matter what. A field goal does them no good here. Into the end zone. Oh, right through the hands of Cliff Reed.
Boy, did he make a nice play there.
Mark Brandon had him covered and suddenly just fell away, and Reed was seemingly waiting for the ball, and it went right through his arms. Watch the cornerback seemingly disappear at the last moment, and then Reed just failed to catch the football.
Brandon lost sight of the ball here. See, he doesn't know where the ball is at this point. His back is to the receiver. He does not know where the ball is. And then, of course, a great job by Cliff Reed coming back to the ball. He did everything except what? Catch the ball.
Well, they're going to kick the field goal here. They're that confident in Mike Prindle. They're going to kick the field goal, at least attempt it. This will be a 37-yard attempt. And then hope they can get the football back. Look at that guy kick. That ball is over from 37 yards with about 20 or 25 yards to spare. He is an awesome young talent.
He's a pro, there's no doubt about it. And of course, you got to give credit to the defense of Toledo, and you also got to remember back, and I hate to even say this, but number 45, when he had a chance to pick the ball up, those are the kind of little things that really hurt when a game is over. And, you know, you just had those things happen, and he had a chance to go in for a touchdown. But at this point, it's 17-13 Toledo. And, of course, they're going to try to stop Toledo right here and get the ball back and go for a touchdown. This game's not over yet.
I don't think I've seen a better kicker anywhere in the country than this young man, Mike Prindle.
He's a player. He just does it. I mean, it's just like the officials get their arms loosened up already to throw the arms up for the being good. You think they're trying an onside kick here?
Maybe that's why they kicked the field goal. We've got a lot of time left, 4:34. Just checking some of the people he has up front. Of course, Western Michigan will get some people who can grab the football and be physical, while Toledo wants their good hands people, so to speak, up front so they can grab it. He's going to go with that high kick. Comes down at about the 13-yard line. Eddie Harris, they're really doing some popping, trying to get the football loose. Harris holds on out to the 27-yard line. That's where the Rockets will start with 4:30 left in the game, and they're holding on to a precarious 4-point lead.
Well, they only have 2 timeouts, Western Michigan I'm talking about, and with 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Dan Simrell right there. There you see him in the picture. I saw him talking to his backs before they went on the field, and he said, boys, hang on to the ball now. Hold it with 2 hands. No matter what you do, it's more important that you don't fumble here. Don't make a big critical mistake.
They spotted at the 28. You'll see some sticking now. Boy, Eddie, he lost that ball.
He sure did.
That was the fumble. Who's got it?
He fell right back into the offensive man, laid on the ground, and got the ball. He went right back into the offensive player.
Brian Vihar was laying on the ground with the football, and it came right down into his chest. A 6'2 senior, number 76 out of Euclid, Ohio. First team All-MAC last year.
That's exactly right there what kills you as a coach. That's why I'm sitting up here now, Bob. That's tough, boy. The last thing you tell them, don't fumble the ball. They took him out of the game, too.
Hard running there by the sophomore tailback, Kelvin Farmer. 5'10", 190 out of Lakewood, Ohio, just outside Cleveland. Dennis Robinson in the free safety position on the tackle. That was a 2nd and 9. Got good yardage. They'll be about maybe a half yard to a yard short.
I'll tell you, from this angle, it looks to me like he has almost a yard to go on that thing. I'm surprised they're measuring this. Maybe it's closer. We can't tell from the angle, perhaps.
I tell you, maybe one of the officials lost a contact lens too. They have been nowhere near close on those last 2 measurements.
But still, that's a long ways right there in this situation. 3rd down and about, say, 18 inches to go, Bob. And I'll tell you what they'll do. They're coming in with a goal line defense down here because it's not a matter of whether they make a touchdown on a long one. They've got to stop for a good foot right here. They'll put everybody down just like they're backed up on the goal line.
We do want to mention, of course, the fact that the MAC officials do a fine job. They just had a tough time on a couple measurements tonight, that's all.
Look at all those. If the camera can pan out, you'll see every defensive man about 3 yards from the ball. There's no safety man or anything. They're putting everybody right up on the line of scrimmage. They've got to make this play. Watch here as you pan out. That's the whole defense right there. Now watch, number 45 is right there. The deepest person is 3 yards. Look at there. They've got 11 men on the line of scrimmage.